Welcome to podcast of St. Joseph Guest House. I'm Br Augustine Oh. I'm the manager of St. Joseph Guest House. Today's topic, we are talking about something exciting, something play, something related to fun. Many of you might enjoy playing games. Out of those games, there will be arcade games or some just console games. Some plays on online or with other partners, other players online by having some kind of role-playing games. So I just wonder how many hours you guys enjoy playing games a day. Some games, sometimes you felt, oh, I should do something else, but I'm doing this one. I cannot leave now. There's another step, another stage I have to get through. So sometimes our behavior shows or tends to be kind of a little addictive or a little obsessed. We are a little obsessed with playing games. Is the addiction to online games really a mental disease? What kind of games are vulnerable to addiction or addictive behaviors? Depending on countries and continents, the trend of addiction is somewhat different. So when it comes to the variety of online games, there are couples of game genres. So first one is a simulation of such as sports games as a shooting game or racing game. The second type is a gambling game such as a poker or baccarat. And the third type is a role-playing game, also known as RPG games. One of the Korean professors teaching culture content in university says the popularity of the games is different depending on the continent. He says the issue of North America is the violence issue uh, due to some of our minors who enjoys playing the shooting games. They are confused with the reality and virtual space. So, however, the European has a different issue than those issues originating from the shooting games. Europeans are more concerned about the gambling, the kind of the addictive behavior out of the gambling. Typically, the kind of feature of the gambling games, such as online poker. They are more concerned about accessibility to the minor in those gambling games in Europe. However, in Asia, the concern is a little different from those concerns in North America and Europe. So, such countries as China, including Hong Kong and Korea and Japan, have expressed more concerns on the addictive types of the online games, um, as if it looks like the the trade looks like very addictive, draws kind of addictive behaviors by to users like social media. So here, Asian opinion leaders are pointing out the issues originated from the role-playing games such as League of Legend, or StarCraft. Today, this podcast will focus on only the online games and its ministerial significance to children and adolescents related to addictive behavior. It is because the remarkable thing is that the addictive behavior from online game that originated from the social media looks similar due to the some hooking method embedded in both online games and social media. According to Dr. Tweng's survey, the iGen high school seniors spend 1.5 hours a day on electronic gaming. And these statistics come from the high school in the United States. What about in Asia? So this interpreted considering the teens spending about 17 hours in school, sleeping, and on homework and school activities, nearly all of their leisure hours are now spent with the new media. Let us go to the different continents from America. In South Korea, Archdiocese Seoul has been one of the leaders in addiction therapy and ministry in South Korea. And in 2023, International Society for the Service of Behavioral Addiction came to Korea and hosted its 2023 meeting. Dr. Lim Hun-woo, medical doctor, and also he's a professor of preventive medicine at Catholic University of Korea, presented natural history and relating factors of internet gaming disorder in Korean children and also adolescents. He shared the data of a cohort study following years, 2 years from children between the fourth grade to sixth grade and seventh grade in a junior high school. He pointed out those who are deeply addicted to the game tend to play more than 4 hours a day and have symptoms about ADHD. Is the addiction on online to online game categorized as disease? There are kind of huge contending and disputes in international platform. To my conclusion, yes, according to WHO. Basically, there are two classifications in psychiatry. So one from APA, American Association of Psychology, American Psychology Association, and from the other from World Health Organization, WHO. American Psychological Association is issued so-called DSM, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorder. Current version of DSM is number 5. In addition, WHO also issues the ICD, which is called International Classification of Diseases, and the recent one was published in 2018 as ICD-11. ICD-11 classifies gaming disorder as a pathological identification. So whereas a DSM-5 was not concluded as a final, and it says tolerance, withdrawal, and obsession, 3 factors, are in gambling identification as a pathological but not accepted in online gaming. It stated that further research was needed. From here, let me introduce John Eun-seok Oh. He is a retired CEO and Neo's Play Studio in South Korea. His company has served the online game, mostly such a gambling category as online poker. He has worked in that industry since 2000 and worked more than 15 years. Even more than that, he was a minor seminarian in Archdiocese Seoul for a year and a half, but he pursued a secular career after he left minor seminary.
Just walk for an hour, say,
Mm-hmm.
in the park,
Mm-hmm.
in front of your office,
Mm-hmm.
just like an habit.
Mm-hmm.
And once that game gets into you,
Mm-hmm.
it just does it
Mm-hmm.
until the player gets um, not so interested anymore.
So, as we did, you served as an altar boy, attended a pre-seminary gathering when you were in the middle school, and then you built a career in the center of the gaming industry. Looking back, did those two world your career as a game industry? You were back in the days when you're a boy, when you're thinking about some priesthood. How those two world ever feel like? Did you ever feel like kind of some tension between them? And I remember you one day you told me you met Father Hwang Ji-yeon to ask some your curiosity or questions about some tension between them.
Mm, I I don't think they actually interfere with each other too much.
Mm-hmm.
The instant when I went to see the Father Huang it was something about gambling because at the time um, I was in charge of what they call a um, social casino, which means you can play for free and you don't get to earn anything. But game mechanics is just like a gambling. The types of games you play in the casino. And at the time, I was actually planning to start a new business with some like a legal regulations license, which will open us, which would enable us to open a real money casino. And real money casino and the Catholic sort of thing, I was sort of confused at the time, and I don't think it could be a typical issue if you get to see, say, the gaming habits of the teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, the game is just like it's just another type of entertainment, just like
Mm-hmm.
watching a webtoon or like Japanese animations or whatever that would be. I mean,
Okay.
it's just nothing nothing special about it, I don't think.
So, if, as you know, Shioni is now going to 14 years old, so would you feel comfortable recommending any games from Neois Incorporated, like some MMORPG or Kart Rider or some FIFA? Used to serve that one and not anymore though. Um,
Yeah, but yeah.
are you comfortable to when Shioni comes to you, Dad, I want to play this game. I want to join. I want to kind of buy some items from the MMORPG, and I'm comfortable with that one.
I don't think actually any parent would have a choice, actually. Because when he comes to me and asks me he wants to play a certain game, it's probably because one of his best friends has been playing already and he wants to play with him. But I mean, anyways, um, because I know more about games, I don't think they are that bad. They could be rather addictive, maybe more addictive than other um, entertainment activities you could choose, but that's probably why the gaming has been increasing its sort of market share of the teenagers at times. Um, but what I'm actually concerned about is whether he plays a certain game or not, but it's the interaction between the players in the game that he plays at. There are some games, as far as I know, that that involves a lot of communication with unknown players,
Oh,
and
okay.
it could be um, it could be not nice,
Okay.
and it could be you know um, non-educational.
Okay, as he says, he pointed it out that the game itself is not vicious. His stance stands for the opinion of industry. On the other hand, WHO classifies a gaming disorder as a pathological mental health condition. According to CNN's interview with Dr. Vladimir Pozniak, a member of WHO's Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse, he said there are three major diagnostic features or characteristics of gaming disorder. One is that the gaming disorder takes the precedence over other activities to the extent that other activities are taken to the periphery. Second, the impaired control of these behaviors. Third feature is that the condition leads to significant distress and impairment in personal, family, social, and educational or occupational functioning. He corrected that gaming disorder is not an addiction, but a disorder due to addictive behaviors. So compared to American Psychological Association (WHO's) stance is it's very proactive when it comes to its impact on international society. And he concluded his argument that we should take some steps, considering some of the issues drawn in around the world. So when reflecting on our the four methodologies by Richard Osmer from Princeton Theological Seminary, what's going on, why is going on, and what should be done, and how we can change the world. So many policymakers they are quite neutral, considering the opinions from the industry, also considering the opinion from the medical side. So medical side, including the WHO, we should take some action. Whereas the industrial side, well, game itself is not, it's game is neutral. The matter is depending on the person who used the game and who plays the game. So, nevertheless, the industry side as still claims that the game is neutral. However, they also admitted there should be some kind of actions. For example, some of the parental guide. Let's hear how John Unsogo says. So, presumably, if a parish priest, 신부님, comes to you asking, oh, because you are expert in the game industry, I have young parishioners in 중고등부 who are losing themselves to gaming and addictive. What would you want the pastor, to 신부님, to understand first before saying anything? So for 신부님 to asking, giving some advice to those 중고등부 students, what would you recommend? What would you advise to 신부님 to keep in mind?
I mean, I think I mean the games are addictive, but it becomes more addictive when the parents leave the children alone.
Oh, okay.
And because when the children play the games, they don't make any trouble. They stay quiet. So the parents becomes free. And to be able to enjoy more freedom every evening, it's hard to say that parents have a lot of incentives to leave the children alone with their iPads or laptops.
I see.
I think that's the most important thing.
I see.
That actually leads to the overuse of gaming or over addiction.
So
by
parental guidance at all time,
all these
not
games.
leaving them alone. Okay, the foremost advice you would like to give to a priest. Thank you so much. As he says, there should be some kind of a parental guidance, even though the game itself is neutral. So So when we compare to those kind of restrictions about limitation of hours, about accessibility of social media, for example, recently Australia passed a law for certain ages, under the certain ages of minor, they cannot access to social media. So those parental guidance is very important and crucial. Um, it's also very kind of in a long term. It's also kind of gives a kind of positive effect because the industry in the long term could still prosper and it could make a progress, considering those parental guidance. And if what if some of the parents are coming to priest and are asking some of ministerial guidance? Um, for ministerial guidance, when a priest are being asked for the ministerial guidance, it's obvious to advise that it's a pastoral. So parental guidance is pastoral. Most of all, how kids are supported from those addiction, how pastors are kind of do not lose the moment of time to ask him to emphasize about the love. So not just condemning or just criticizing or just kind of steps for the parents to correct him or her immediately. How, first of all, embrace him or her, their parent, their kids and children, their adolescents, embrace them and kind of do not lose the feeling of love, being loved from parents. So at the same time, the medical side, some of our two psychiatricians did not um, underestimate that it's the kind of lifetime therapy. It's not just uh, 1 or 2 years of therapy, and how it is important that how the children or the adolescent feeling by themselves, some other kind of activity could be important than just playing games. So for them to be felt being loved by their parents and their neighbors and their friends, as well as how we can give them kind of an opportunity to measure and proportionally measure some other activities like some building a relationship with with friends, and reading books or some other kind of exercises, physical exercises, kind of have kind of a comprehensively better value than just playing games. Well, playing game itself is not a vicious activity. We can have make a fun. We can build a relationship with the games. However, when we felt use kind of a passing time or spending time relative too much on games, it will be a kind of a highly the time to think about uh, what else activities could be also very productive and very worthwhile to do, not just to be involved in game playing. Thank you for listening and see you next time.